Today's testimonial is on treating workers' compensation policies as a human right by Janelle Coolidge, student of social work from the University of New England. The views expressed are those of the author and should not be attributed to the University of New England's Master of Social Work program. Thank you for allowing me the time to speak about an important topic that is very relevant in today's society, as it involves anyone that is currently employed or one day hopes to be employed. I would like to discuss how workers' compensation system in the United States should view workers' compensation policies as a human right for employees. According to Hilgert, an author of an article called Building a Human Rights Framework for Workers' Compensation in the United States, opening the debate on first principles. He explains that workers' compensation is a social insurance policy that deals with job-related injuries or illnesses. Currently, many injured employees have been having difficulty receiving compensation for medical bills, rehabilitation, and wage replacements. This is due to receiving stigmatization, having private investigators monitoring them, receiving retaliation and discrimination. Hilgert explains that workers' compensation should be a human rights issue by discussing three valuable points. Point number one, Hilgert discusses that human rights should not be viewed as a legal analysis, but as a philosophical and a political analysis. That the human rights philosophy argues that humans deserve universal respect and validation just because they are human. This means that the human rights idea makes the injured workers issue legit and valuable, because it is their right as humans to receive care. Bowden, an author of Reexamining Workers' Compensation, a Human's Right and Perspective, states that today's workers' compensation system needs to evaluate themselves and see if they are addressing the human rights aspect of the injured worker. That they should ask themselves if work-related disabilities should be treated different from any other disability. Is it the responsibility of the employer to cover these injuries? Should the general health insurance cover occupational injuries? Bowden believes that the main concern should always be about the employee's injuries, not on how much it will cost the employer. Point number two, Hilgert also states that workers' compensation policies are more market-based because workers' compensation was funded by a market-based value. Changing towards a more human rights approach would mean changing the values that form these policies in the first place. Labor economists influence these policies with a more market-based framework. Workers' compensation policies were made before the human rights era began. These economists wanted to balance the interests of the employers and the injured employees. The main focus, however, should be placed on the injured health. It is the priority to take care of the injured employee, not on how much it affects the market. Additionally, the last and final point from Hilgert, point number three, states that there needs to be a new view on workers' compensation policies, that they should promote universal access to health care and view workers' compensation as a social good and protect the workers' dignity, and make sure that each injured employee has the right to access their workers' compensation benefits. Hilgert also states that no system should delay or deny an injured worker to receive health care. Their care should not be based on whether this injury happened at work or somewhere else, but to focus on caring for them. Employers should make efforts to prevent injuries and provide a safe environment. The human rights approach means protect an injured employee's dignity and not having a hostile environment when the employee wants to receive help. We must listen to the voices of those who have been injured and challenge anyone who would want to deny them of their right to receive their benefits. As a future social worker, I hope to apply this mentality into my own practice. I hope to promote social justice and be a voice for those employees who feel like they have no voice. I want to be an advocate of change and promote workers' compensation as a human right for any employee that may suffer an injury. I will actively challenge any system that would like to retaliate, discriminate, or deny anyone from their right of receiving compensation for any injury that they might have acquired. Thank you.